Father joins us from Family Theater Productions, who we're a huge fan of, to talk about their work in media and the upcoming release of the new movie called Pray.
Yes.
Father, how are you?
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
So glad you could join us. Tell us about, before we even talk about Pray, a little bit about your work and what you do there.
Family Theater continues the work of Venerable Father Patrick Peyton. We have lots of things going on. I know that you know our program, Catholic Central. We made a Spanish version of that recently called Lente Católico. We've got a couple of other movies that are coming out next year, but our big project right now is Pray, the story of Patrick Peyton, and the prayer campaign that goes with it.
Mm-hmm. And tell us a little bit, Father, if you could, about the movie itself.
Pray is, as it says in the title, is the story of Patrick Peyton, who is familiar to many in your audience, I'm sure, and many of you are probably just hearing of him. He was a huge figure of the middle of the last century. He had a massive campaign to try to bring families to pray together. In fact, your audience probably knows the phrase, the family that prays together stays together. That's Father Peyton. So we talk about him, his work in media, radio and television, but also his work in rallies around the world that drew millions and millions of people. And as we tell his story, we also introduce people to families who've embraced Father Peyton's message of the importance of family prayer.
We're looking at some footage actually now on air, Father, of Father Peyton. This must be a really good time for you guys, because there's so much going on and people are really recognizing the great work of Father Peyton.
It's been wonderful to see the response to Father Peyton, and especially to his message. And, you know, with all the challenges that families have right now in the world, the reminder that prayer can help keep them united, can help keep them resilient and strong in these times. I think that's what Father Peyton would want people to remember, especially with the pandemic and all that we're going through today.
What do you think it was about Father Peyton, Father, that drew people to him, as we were seeing some of the clips, all these movie stars, celebrities, and then the thousands and thousands of people at the Rosary Crusades?
Father Peyton was first and foremost a man of faith. He was deeply, deeply committed to God through his vocation as a priest, but he also had a strong devotion to the Blessed Mother. And he lived that his whole life. He never strayed from his message. He never strayed from the mission that he believed that was given to him by God. And that mission was to bring families together to pray so that they could be closer to one another by being closer to God.
Why do you think it's so important to have this movie to tell the story? What can it bring to families and to the world?
First of all, I think people will just be entertained. It's a beautiful story. We've gotten wonderful response. It's hopeful. There's great images, both of newly digitized footage from Father Peyton's life, but also some beautiful little reenactments. But more than just the entertainment, we really believe that it will bring hope, that it will bring hope to families by showing them this really simple, practical thing that any family can do, and that is to gather together and pray. And the film might be an inspiration to do that. Family Theater's created other resources that could help families do that through the website, which is praythefilm.com. There's resources for families. There's also resources for parishes, if parishes want to promote family prayer by using the film eventually, or parishes want to promote family prayer through their own programs. So family prayer is the key to it all, and that's what we hope people will get from the film.
Now, you may not even have an answer to this question, Father, but a lot of times when people write a book or they do a movie, they're surprised by something. Looking through all of this footage and doing all the research, was there anything that surprised you?
It surprised me that Father Peyton's message, which is now, some of it is 40, 50 years old, is still so contemporary. It surprised me that Father Peyton, as early as the 1940s, started to see the pressures that would be on families, the things that would take them away from one another, the things that would attract them away from their faith, And even then, he was concerned about it. So his message about keeping strong in the faith as the core of being who you are, but also being who you are as a family, seems more relevant today than ever.
And again, Father, where could people find out more information about the film?
PrayTheFilm.com is the website. It's coming out in theaters on October 9th. We know this is a risky time for theaters. We prayed a lot about it, about whether or not this was the way to introduce the world to this film. But we thought, wouldn't it be great if the first film that people saw after the pandemic was this film that was so hopeful and so relevant for their lives today, or at least that they had the opportunity. So we're going to be in markets across the United States. If you go to the website, PrayTheFilm.com, there's a little tab there that said Find a Theater. We're adding theaters every day. Theaters are doing lots of things to keep people safe, social distancing, reduce capacities in the theaters. But there's a link to each theater on that page, so you can check out what your local theater might be doing in that regard too.
Well, I have to say that I actually went to the theater last weekend to watch a movie. And I felt very comfortable. So
that's great.
There you have it. Hey, Father, always a pleasure. Stay safe out there and keep up the great work.
Thanks, Jay. God bless.